More legislation for Uber and Lyft is on the way, although it has nothing to do with driver pay, and to be honest, it's in regards to a very sad situation. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. We're pretty much just going to jump right into this one. I'm even going to eschew my typical chirpy opening and ending because this is just sad. A South Carolina student killed after getting into a car she thought was Uber died from sharp forced injuries. This is a very, very unfortunate situation. And here's the thing. People have confirmed that the University of South Carolina student killed after getting into a car she mistook for the Uber student. Okay, this isn't jumping into what I thought it was going to. So basically what happened with this young woman is that she called an Uber late at night, you know, something we all do. And she saw a car, and for whatever reason, she felt like this was her Uber car. And I don't know if that was because she was intoxicated, if the car looked very similar to what she had ordered, whether or not there was like an Uber sticker on there that, you know, maybe the guy bought off eBay. Maybe it was a combination of all three. The details are still a little sparse, but she got into this vehicle, disappeared for several hours. Family got worried, calls the cops. They found the car matching the description of what she had gotten into, and they found her blood in the vehicle, and it was confirmed that this person that was in the car that she was not even supposed to be in basically kidnapped and murdered her, and might have done a lot worse. So that is just a very unfortunate situation, and you know, we're going to talk about what their proposed solution is, and I don't think it's a very good solution. Unfortunately, you know, see, I'm trying to be sensitive about this because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to blame anyone. It was just an unfortunate thing that happened. You know, people get into the wrong cars all the time. It's unfortunate, but it happens, and I don't know if the solution is, well, what is their solution? Because basically this is just confirming that the guy has been caught, thankfully, and he's being tried for murder and a lot more potentially. But it did inspire some legislation, and as CBS points out, students' death sparks bill requiring Uber and Lyft drivers to display illuminated signs. This is not going to help with future incidents like this, I'm sorry to say. I'll tell you why in a moment. A bill has been introduced in the South Carolina legislature that would require Uber and Lyft drivers to display an illuminated sign on their vehicle window. Representative Seth Rose said the bill was in response to the death of a 21-year-old University of South Carolina student, Samantha Josephson, who was killed after apparently getting into a car she thought was her Uber ride early Friday. Titled the Samantha L. Josephson Ride-Sharing Safety Act, the bill requires all transportation network companies, TNC, like Uber or Lyft, to possess and display certain illuminated signage at all times when the TNC driver is active. House Speaker Jay Lucas placed the bill on the calendar for Wednesday to be debated by House members in the South Carolina legislature. Columbia, South Carolina police believe Josephson mistakenly got into a car driven by 24-year-old Nathaniel David Rowland. She was traveling alone and was returning home after a night out. Quote, "We believe that she simply mistakenly got into this particular car thinking it was an Uber ride. She opened the door and got into it and departed with the suspect driving." Rowland was arrested Saturday after police conducted a traffic stop in his vehicle, which matched the description of the car Josephson was seen entering on video footage. Josephson's blood was found in the trunk and inside the black Chevy Impala, along with her cell phone and bleach, window cleaner, and cleaning wipes, Holbrook said. Rowland has been charged with murder and kidnapping. So this, again, it's a sad situation, and I want to be sensitive because I know that there are people who are hurting, and I want to acknowledge it's hurting, and they want something to be done. And this will not help anything. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm not even saying it because I think, you know, Uber shouldn't be punished for this, although let's make it clear, Uber didn't do anything wrong, but I know this isn't to punish Uber. But here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's go to ebay.com and let's search Uber. Let's just search for Uber. Search. Hello, look what you find. You have Uber and Lyft signage. And this, by the way, I believe is the Rideshare Professor's. Not that I'm trying to drag him into this, but I know he makes these. So all of these signs you can just buy on Uber. Now, some people might say, well, but these aren't officially, these aren't endorsed by Uber. Like Uber doesn't make these particular models. They have their own. Well, I'm glad that you brought that up. Uber Beacon. These, well, let me see. Like these are official Uber beacons. These are what they send you after you've taken so many car rides and you put them on your car. I mean, granted, they're like $80, $45, $140, $70. They're not exactly cheap, but people buy them all the time to pose as Uber drivers. And many of the incidents, I'm trying to choose my words carefully because YouTube scans those things, are because people buy stuff like this on eBay. Let's see here. What about Uber sticker? Uber sticker. Okay, look, see right here? This is an official Uber sticker. Or at least, well, maybe that's not the official one. Let me pick one that actually, like here, this Uber decal right here. Uber gives these out for free. And I have extras, like they're in like a folder somewhere, but I have extras and people go online and they sell them. I beg people not to do this. Like, please don't sell these stuff on, eBay for this reason. I know I have to talk about it, and I'm sure it's going to put a bad idea into someone's head, but people buy these and they can pose as Uber drivers. Let's go to Lyft amp. The Lyft amp. Look, you can buy a Lyft amp. And the reason a lot of these wind up on eBay is because people stop driving for rideshare and they have this thing and they don't want it anymore. So some of them are brand new. So they sell them on eBay and they can get a lot of money. Now, once they sell it, it's out of sight, out of mind. Like, if you're going to do something wrong with it, you didn't know, you were just trying to get rid of this. It's not illegal to sell these things. So here's the thing. Requiring that Uber and Lyft display these things isn't going to change anything because people who aren't drivers can display it all the time. But I did see something that was a little interesting. Let's go back and see if I can't find it again. This was fascinating. But let's see here. Where was it? Like this one right here. I actually really like this one. So what this guy does apparently is he makes custom Uber amps, oh, for Pete's sakes, with names on them. That is really clever. So what you might need to require Uber or Lyft to do is, if you're going to do this, you're going to need to have it so that the name is clearly displayed, as well as a driver identification number. In fact, you might even have to require Uber drivers and Lyft drivers to have TLC licenses. You never know. But at that point, aren't you getting closer to employees? And that complicates things a little bit more. One of the reasons Uber doesn't provide really sophisticated stuff like this is because they want you to be independent contractors. And the other thing is, maybe the cars themselves need to look a certain way. Maybe the cars need to have Uber decal all over it, and they need to be official Uber vehicles that can be tracked and traced by the government for situations like this. To ensure that you're getting the right car. But again, independent contractor, which I know we're not really independent contractors, but So I appreciate what they're trying to do. And in fact, I care enough about this that I'm going to send this video to Representative Seth Rose. Sorry about the plumbing, the roommates doing stuff. And kind of share why this is. I mean, it's good to start talking about these things, but this isn't going to do anything. Whether it's a sticker or an illuminated sign, as you can see here on eBay, Uber beacon. You can buy them. People sell them online, and they can buy them, and there's no other identifying. You can easily pose as a fake Uber or Lyft driver. So this bill won't make a lick of sense until you start addressing some of those issues. And to the congressmen, I would be more than happy to share, my advice on what are some of the ways that criminals can get around this to make your bill more airtight, if you would like. Because, I do want this to potentially be a thing. And I don't even know if you made it as airtight as possible, if this would prevent anything, because, we could definitely take steps in the right direction. I do like the idea that the beacon also has like the name of the driver and maybe an identification number for the person calling them. That might work a lot. And then if you sell them online afterwards, it also works as a double-edged sword, where you buy them on eBay and you try to use it to pose as an Uber driver. Maybe it doesn't work as well, but people are still drunk sometimes, or they're tired, or they're both. And sometimes if they just look at the car, they sometimes don't even realize what kind of car we're driving. They're looking for a certain colored car. In fact, near the end of my driving days, one of the biggest problems I had is that in the app, it shows my Corolla as orange. It's not. It's gold. And no matter how many times I've emailed Uber about it, they haven't changed it. Now, granted, it's the same make, it's the same year model, it's the same brand, it's the same license plate, it's obviously the same picture, but how many people thought that I wasn't their Uber driver because the car color was different? Well, it's kind of the same thing. What if someone comes up in like a Ford Fiesta and it's like 2016? They actually were getting a Toyota Camry, but the only thing they see is it's red. So they get in the car, and which means you might not only have to tackle the signage issue, you might have to tackle car identification that is more thorough. Like there might have to be like a unified color these cars need to be, but then you start getting into really tricky territory because people are using their personal cars. So it's going to be complicated, unfortunately. But of course, I would love to know what you think about this, so comment below. If you want to share this video, you can, but we're going to kind of just leave it there. This was an overall very sad situation. And flame responsibly, be respectful. This is not a laughing matter. Unfortunately, someone did lose their life, and that's just sad regardless how you slice it.